we've got a picture from the new Nancy Drew movie. Here it is. This is our first look at Nancy Drew and the Hidden Staircase. So on the left is the director, in the middle is the actress playing Nancy, and on the right is the actress playing George. I think that might be best standing behind George. There's clearly somebody standing behind George, we just can't see who it is, and there's somebody standing behind Nancy as well. It could be other actors, it could just be random stagehands. I don't know. So, along with this picture, we got some description of the movie. It says, the film focuses on Nancy Drew, a smart high schooler with a penchant for keen observation and deduction, who stumbles upon the haunting of a local home. And that's basically taken straight from the book, The Hidden Staircase. This is the second Nancy Drew book. I've got both copies of the book, both versions of the book, I should say. This is the older one. This is the 1953 right. So that's basically the story of the book. Nancy goes to a house which is being haunted. It's got these two elderly women that live in the house, and they're very scared, and they need somebody who's brave and strong to protect them, and that sounds like a job for Nancy Drew. So she goes to the house, she investigates the hauntings. I think the hauntings are things like items mysteriously disappear, the chandelier almost falls, maybe a ghost face at the window, I think. It's been years since I've read these books. I don't remember off the top of my head. But it's just, a general haunting mystery, which ties into the creepy guy who lives next door, who wants to secretly buy the house, and he kidnaps Nancy's father, and he's just a bad person. He's the culprit, in case it's not obvious. Anyway, let me keep reading the description. So, Nancy Drew, a bit of an outsider struggling to fit into her new surroundings, Nancy and her pals set out to solve the mystery, make new friends, and establish their place in the community. Okay, interesting. That sounds sort of like the previous Nancy Drew movie, which I believe came out in 2007. So that was also about Nancy in a new neighborhood. Basically, she moved to a new place, and so she kind of had to struggle with, making new friends and figuring out what does she do now that she's in a totally different place. So we also got a cast list. Kind of, I don't know any of the actors myself, but some of them have named characters, some of them do not. So, Bess and George are in the movie along with Nancy Drew. Obviously, her name's in the title. She's obviously going to be in the movie if her name's in the title. We've got a character named Helen. Helen, a high school mean girl who reluctantly joins forces with Nancy to help solve the mystery. I find that interesting because I think it's Helen Corning. It's in the original book. That's Nancy's friend, Helen Corning. She ends up marrying Jim Archer. If you've played Nancy Drew, The Secret of the Old Clock, that video game, Jim Archer, that character, so he ends up marrying Nancy's friend, Helen Corning. She's Nancy's friend in the earlier books. So in the book, Bess and George aren't actually in the book. I don't think they're in this version of the book either. It's Nancy's friend Helen. She doesn't show up very long in the book, but I find it interesting that they're basically having her character. Sounds like she's taking more of an important role in this movie. So that's cool. I like it when they have characters in the books. Okay, and it sounds like she's going to reluctantly joins forces with Nancy. I mean, mean girl who reluctantly joins forces with Nancy kind of sounds like Deirdre Shannon, to be honest. That's sort of Deirdre's role in the various Nancy Drew books and Nancy Drew games. She's kind of a mean girl, doesn't really like Nancy, but she ends up getting roped into helping solve the mystery anyway. Okay, three other characters who have names. We've got Nancy's father, Carson Drew. Nancy's Aunt Hannah. Because Hannah Gruen is the name of Nancy's housekeeper. Aunt Hannah? I guess she's related to Nancy now. Hannah's always been sort of like a substitute mother for Nancy, because Nancy's mother died when she was very young. So I find it interesting that, they're keeping the storyline of, Nancy's mother is dead, but the woman who lives at home with Nancy and her father is now like an official relative. rather than just a housekeeper, somebody who's employed by Nancy's father. You know what you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Hardy Boys series, because they have their Aunt Gertrude who lives with them. Aunt Gertrude is hilarious, actually. She's a great character. So, hopefully Aunt Hannah will also be a great character. I'll be honest, Aunt Gertrude is way more interesting than Hannah Gruen. So, I'm interested in seeing them try something new with her. And the final character with the name is Flora, who owns the haunted house. And I think that's the name of the old woman, Flora Turnbull. Oh, it does not. It has a list of books on the back. I was going to cheat and read the description of the book from the back, but no, there was no description of the book in the back, so I couldn't double check her name. There are two old women in the book, but it sounds like there's only going to be one in this one, which, okay, that works. The cast also includes J. Devon Johnson, Andrew Matthew Welch, John Bridle, Josh Doggery. So we've got various characters who don't have names. I wonder which one is going to be the culprit, because as I mentioned, we've got an evil, greedy person, an evil, greedy man who's the culprit in the book. So I think one of these unnamed characters has to be the culprit. Unless it's Aunt Hannah. I mean, that would be kind of weird if it was Aunt Hannah who was the culprit, but I would totally be down with that. So, yeah. So, we don't know when the movie is coming out. They have not announced a release date yet, but they're still filming it. So, yeah. It says production for Nancy Drew and the Hidden Staircase is based in Georgia, filming at specific locations in and around the city of Monroe. I find the title kind of interesting, because these books, as you can see, are both called Nancy Drew, The Hidden Staircase. Looks like this movie is called Nancy Drew and The Hidden Staircase. I think the reason why they might have changed the title slightly is because there was a movie called Nancy Drew, The Hidden Staircase, black and white movie, came out a long time ago, and it was sort of basically the same story as the book. We've got these two elderly women who are in a house that's being haunted, and they need a big, strong person to come save them, which sounds like a job for Nancy Drew, a strong, resourceful, helpful person like her. So, that's basically it for this video. I just wanted to show off the picture of the new Nancy Drew movie. It looks awesome. So, I can't wait for it to come out. If there's any more big news about this movie, I'll make sure to do a follow-up video on that. Thanks for watching, everybody.